Hello, you guys. I am super pumped to talk about something that I am very, very passionate about, which is leadership. And in particular to that, what it looks like when everything is not flowing great and when everything isn't running smoothly. So if you were on this training, I do these, hopefully we'll be doing these every Tuesday. And it's just going to be about 15 minutes of your time. So make sure you share this with your teams, especially with your leaders. You can tag them below, and it also will be on YouTube. But this morning we're going to spend about 15 minutes talking about Valley leadership. And I don't think that it is coincidence that this topic is something that was laid on my heart, because to be honest, many of us as leaders have been in a valley, okay? And not just a valley, but we have been somewhat dying off. Many leaders have been giving up on their leadership, to be honest. You have just thrown in the towel. You don't think there's any hope in your leadership. You don't think there's any hope in your team. You've lost all respect for yourself as a leader, okay? And I know that juggle and that struggle of, is it me? Am I the reason why they're not promoting? Am I the reason why they're not working? Am I the reason why? And there is a balance between that, because you do have to look at your personal activities, right? You do have to look at, on the 3 legs of success, are you putting in your numbers? Are you having your parties or doing what it takes to get your PRV? Are you sponsoring and are you leading? So you do have to look at that, but you also have to look at, okay, where am I at as a leader, and what is happening with, this leadership that I'm in. So if you're on here, please make sure you tag your teams. Please make sure you tag any of your lead consultants, and it'll be on YouTube also. So I thought this was really interesting. I am big on definitions. I'm big on going into really what words mean, and I'm very visual also. So when I read a definition, I can actually see that. And I have been in a valley in my business the entire time I've been in my business. Well, not a valley, but valleys and highs and peaks and descending, and valleys and highs and peaks and descending, and so on and so forth. And so I've had a lot of experience with this. I've had to navigate very, very difficult things within my leadership. I've had to navigate difficult people. I've had to navigate difficult leaders. And so I want to share with you guys how I have gotten through the valleys, so I can get back to that ascending part of the mountain. Because your business, you guys, and this doesn't just go in for Cincy, and that's why yesterday on the leadership page I posted what I posted, because it's not just direct sales, okay? Anyone who owns a business has peaks, valleys, ascending, and descending. So quit taking it so personal, like you're the only one in the world who is struggling in your business. Anyone, I know many business owners, they have peaks, they have valleys, but guess what? You don't learn your lessons in the peaks, okay? This is very important. You don't learn the bad habits you've been doing in the peaks. You learn the lessons in the valleys. You become wise in the valleys, and that's your choice. You can become wise in the valley. You can look back and you can see what could be changed, what needs to be changed immediately, or you can sit there and you can drown and suffocate from not having oxygen because you're so deep in that valley that you've just stopped working your personal business as a leader and you've just kind of given up. So the definition of a valley, I thought this was very interesting. Okay, it's a low area of land between hills or mountains. So you have your hills and your mountains. So it's a really low area of land. Okay, so I want you to think about how your oxygen level is. Like visually, any of my visual learners, how your oxygen level is. You can't see the sky that good. You can't see the sun that good. It's really low and really dark down there. Okay, and this was very interesting. Typically, a valley has a river or stream flowing through it. I thought that was interesting because normally, what was that? Sorry, there's a spider in my office, a little baby spider. That's my life. Typically, when we're in a valley, we say what? What do we say whenever we're in a valley? We say we're drowning, right? Have you ever said that before? Like, I am drowning in my business. I'm drowning. I cannot breathe. I cannot do this. My team isn't listening. I have no motivation, which motivation, by the way, should never be a business tactic. I've never heard a successful business owner say, I'm successful because I'm motivated. You're successful because you're disciplined. That's how you create success. Have you ever told yourself when you're in a valley, though, I'm drowning? Who said that? Comment for me below. Have you ever said that? I've said that so many times. I've said that in my family life. I've said that in my work life. I've said that in my relationship with my husband. I am drowning. I cannot breathe. I'm like a duck, right? I look okay up top, but under the water, I'm literally drowning. What if we decided that low area of land between hills or mountains, typically with a river or stream flowing through it, what if we decided to stop and take a drink? Oh, but you don't want to do anything for you. You don't want to look at yourself. We don't want to look at ourselves. We don't have time to stop and take a drink. We don't have time to stop and refresh. We don't have time to stop and reflect. Who is telling you that you don't have time? Last I checked, we are not meant to run on E. And I'm speaking out of pure life experience. The longer you run on E, not only will your team not care, because they will use every ounce of gas they can out of you, but it will affect your physical health, your mental health, and overall the burnout of your business. So I want to encourage you. I'm going to go over 4 steps really quick. Like I said, these trainings on Tuesdays are going to be really quick thought process trainings for you as a leader. And we're even going to go deeper than self-care, right? But that's the reality of it, right? Is that why are we saying we're drowning when we can really stop and say, you know what? I need to take a drink. I need to drink some water. I need to stop and take a drink of water. I'm in the valley. I'm in some shade anyways. Let's sit down under that tree, sister, and let's figure out what's going on. Let's look at myself and let's figure out, how did we get here? And not only how did we get here, but how are we going to get back up? How are we going to refresh ourselves and get tactics and get tools so we can get up refreshed, not get up because we had 9 cups of coffee and we're running on stress, adrenaline, and epinephrine. Okay? So 4 things that you can do to recognize you're in a valley that can help you get consistent and get out of that valley, okay? So number 1, you have to realize that your valley is reality. A lot of people, when they're in valleys, they like to disassociate with the reality of their life and the reality of their business, meaning that they continue not to have team meetings every month. They continue not to share the Scentsy opportunity. They continue not to have a home party themselves, book a party, get in front of people, whatever they need to do to see faces, because it's just too much work for you. They continue to have, half-assed follow-up systems with their customers because they just don't want to look on YouTube and see the 1,000 free resources on how you can consistently follow up. They don't want to watch the trainings on this page on people that kill it at follow-up. So you have to look at the reality of the part that you're playing in the valley. It's your business. And the problem is that when our disillusioned thought process on how you're working your business becomes so consistent with you, it becomes your reality. And I say this because we live in a very distorted world of what is real and what is not real. And if you're in a valley, you have to be the one who's a leader that sits down with that big old 40-ounce thing of water, and you have to look at, this is the reality of my business right now. This is where I'm at as a leader, so what am I going to do about it? Okay? So number 1, you have to recognize it. You have to recognize your reality. You have to recognize that you're not sponsoring. You have to recognize that you're not leading from the front. What does that mean? It's very simple. Quit complicating and waiting for a training to tell you how to lead. You lead by example. You mother by example. You work wherever you work. If you have a job besides Cincy, you do it the right way, I would assume, every time, so you can lead by example to the staff that are under you and with you, right? So how are you leading by example with your sales, with your sponsoring, with your leadership? How are you doing that if you don't recognize what you're doing wrong? If you think that not having team meetings is right, you're wrong. If you think that having minimal $500 in sales a month is right, you're wrong. You're a leader. If you think that sponsoring one person every 3 months and you're a lead consultant and you're trying to be a director is right, that's not reality. That's not right. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to look and recognize, why though are you here? Is it because you're depending on the 3 people on your team to be active? You only have 3 people on your team. 1 out of those 3 will probably be active. You need to sponsor more. Once you recognize, the second thing that you need to do is stop what you're doing and you need to evaluate. Okay, if I'm here and I recognize that these are the areas in my business that I'm not particularly happy with, how can I change those things? Ooh, how can I change those things? Why are we waiting? You're going to get some OG Chloe Cox right now. Why are you waiting on your sponsor to train you on how to get up, step up, and lead? Why are you waiting on your sponsor or your director or your superstar director to teach your butt to get on YouTube and figure out how you want to party? Why do you want me to tell you how to party? Why do you want me to tell you how to recruit? Why do you want me to tell you how to have a team meeting? Get a free Zoom and have a team meeting. Get people at your house that are on your team and do a sample party. You are the one that has to recognize that it's you versus you. You are an independent leader. You're an independent consultant. My job is to lead you guys and help steward you guys on the activities that you need to recognize are within you because you're not here by accident. Okay? So you need to evaluate, what areas do you need to change as a leader? What do you need to change? What needs to adapt? What needs to evolve? What do you need to pivot in? What do you need to actually do? Because a lot of the issue in leadership is you're not doing you're not doing the activities at all. So you're not having consistent meetings. You're not recruiting. You're not selling. You're having one party a month. You're posting something in your VIP page and waiting for it to make it happen. That's called laziness. That's not hard work. Leadership is hard work. You're not a certified consultant. You're a leader. So you have to evaluate. You have to stop, get the water, and sit down and really evaluate where you're at currently and where you want to be. You have an entire year. The projection is up to you. The business plan is up to you. We're in January. Number 3, you've got to make changes immediately. After you stop, you sit down, you refresh yourself. You look at where your commitment is. I did a training on that last week. What are you committed to? You rearrange and prioritize that commitment. Now you have to make changes, and you have to do it very quickly. Because the sooner you sit back, it's already 2023. Are you going to wait for the new catalog to launch to make changes? Are you going to decide to make changes now? Because that's what leaders do. That's what CEOs do. They don't wait for somebody to make a change. They look at themselves and evaluate where they're at, which nobody, listen to me, you don't need to be trained on where you're at. You know what you're not doing, and you know what needs to change. Period. Okay? So make the changes. It starts with you. And number 4, this is going to be the hardest one. Okay? I'm going to take a sip of coffee because y'all need to let this simmer. This is going to be the hardest one. You've got to stay consistent. You've got to stay consistent. I realized this fall, I'm going to give you an example, that I was drastically losing relationship with you guys. Although we were not meeting in person last fall, I knew that if I didn't make a change, literally had to take a drink. I realized if I didn't make a change quickly this fall that I was going to lose you guys, that you guys were not well. You were not showing up. So I had to consistently show up. So I made a change this fall to do leadership trainings every month. I committed to you guys. I did it even when I didn't feel like it. I did a program with some amazing leaders that backboned onto that program called Get Your Head in the Game. You remember that? Yeah? I stayed committed. I decided in 2023 that with my directors and above and with my leaders that I was going to get even more committed in certain areas because I had already started in the fall. This is, listen to me when I say, consistency and commitment go hand in hand. You have to consistently do what you're committed to. So I want to challenge you with these 4 steps. Recognizing the valley. Stop what you're doing, get a sip of water and evaluate your valley. Make changes of what you want to do as a leader, as a business owner. And number 4, I want you to stay consistent all year long. You have 12 months to change your business. If you think your business is going to change with one party, you're wrong. You could find a superstar director in there, you're right. But you've got to get to work. You can't keep banking on one party, one recruit, one VIP moment, one bingo party. Like, guys, stop. That's not called working smarter, not harder. That's called you're not working. That's honestly kind of lazy. And your team can see that. So how bad do you want your life to change and your leadership to change by the end of the year? What does that look like for you? What are you committed to? I hope this was helpful. I'm going to put it on YouTube, and I'll see you guys next week.